You know, on this channel, I always try to be nice and friendly and all that stuff, but guess what? I have had enough. You know, last week I talked about all the stuff I love about the 16 personalities. Well, you know what? What goes up must come down. For every action, there is an equal yet opposite reaction. So today, we're gonna talk about the things I hate about every personality type. That's right, I'm about to offend everybody out there. Get ready to have your feelings hurt. So buckle up, Buttercup. Please don't take anything I say in this video seriously. What I can't stand, what drives me up the wall about the 16 personalities. So we're gonna start with the EJs. We're gonna start with the extroverted thinkers, ESTJ, ENTJ. Oh my gosh, will they please stop asking me questions? All the EJs ask questions, but when the TE types, ESTJ and ENTJ, ask so many questions, it makes me feel dumb. Like I know I know that's a me thing, that I feel dumb when they ask questions, but it's always like they're just trying to knock down all my ideas. And it's like, if you just stopped asking questions, we wouldn't have to think too much about this. The other thing is, they don't care about my feelings, man. They'll just bulldoze my feelings sometimes without realizing it. And because I'm such a sensitive guy, it can be tough. Another thing is, they get a little bit weird when they're talking about how they feel. They're just like, I don't want to talk about that. Maybe I'll mention it really quick and then move on. It's like, dude, let's talk about our feelings, man. Next in my targets are the FE types, ENFJ and ESFJ. Yes, they also ask a lot of questions, but their questions are like, how do you feel about this? What did you think about this experience you had? Oh, are you doing okay? You look sad. How can I help you out? It's like, please stop. You're putting a spotlight on me. It makes me uncomfortable. Like, I get it. They're trying to take care of people and whatever, but sometimes I just wish you would leave me alone to, you know, stew on my own. I can feel smothered by their questions. Another weird thing about them is that, you know, they're like happy and bubbly on the surface, but sometimes they'll just swing to this extreme of being like a volcano of emotion where it's just like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand what's happening. You're getting a little hysterical here and it's freaking me out. And then they go back to being calm, happy, bubbly, whatever. It's like, I don't get it. The other thing about all the EJs that I hate is that then the EJs go and say, oh man, I'm really an introvert, you know, because I just get so drained by people. It's like, no S, Sherlock. I would be drained too if I did that. I'm just getting so angry thinking about it. Okay, now we're moving on to the EP types who I have major beef with. Okay, the SE types, ESFP and ESTP. I get anxious. I can feel the anxiety coming on to me sometimes when I'm around these types because I'm like, I don't know if I can keep up with them. They're just gonna be like, go, go, go. Let's do this, let's do that. All this chaos, I feel like I'm gonna get like destroyed in the, like what crazy thing are they gonna try to do next? The ESTPs, they like to call me out on being not clear about what I'm talking about. Because you know, me being an NF type, I rarely am clear. So they're like, well, what exactly do you mean? Are you saying this? Are you saying this? It's like, dude, I don't wanna be clear about this stuff. Don't make me clarify myself. And the ESFPs, they're just so popular and cool, it makes me feel lame in comparison. That's what I hate about them. Don't make me feel bad about myself by you being so good. Both of these types, like I said in my last video, card above my head, what I love about the types, these types are very cool. And so in comparison, I feel like, what am I doing with myself? Can I ever live up to the level of coolosity that they are at? Before we continue, let's stop momentarily and support this channel and see if YouTube would like to show a commercial. Thanks for sitting through that, and if this video is offending you and you feel so angry that I am roasting you like this, give it a thumbs up. Next up, we're talking about the extroverted intuitives, ENTP and ENFP, and you know what? Much like the other types, I feel like this anxiety onset when I'm around them, But I feel like these types in particular are quite exhausting. And it's one of those things where when you're around them, it's like fun and stuff, but then after a while you're like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I'm over it. I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to go to bed. I need to recharge. And they're still going. It's like we just started. And they don't plan anything. I need some lead time, okay? I need about 2 to 3 weeks to prepare myself for this, and you're giving me about 3 seconds. The ENTPs in particular, something about them that vexes me is that they like to just pick apart everything that you're saying. And it's like, I'm trying to make a point about something, and they'll come in and they'll stab at this one little point, and they're like, well, that doesn't make sense. And it's like, yeah, I wasn't trying to make sense, and every little, just look at the big picture of what I'm saying. But no, to them it's fun. It's a game they're playing. As a feeler type, I can't keep up with that kind of intellectual gymnastical display. Then if we move on to the ENFPs, they joke a lot, and sometimes it's like, I don't want to joke anymore. Can we stop joking? The jokes are never ending. They'll find ways to make fun of everything you hold dear. They're relentless. And I don't always appreciate that. Okay. Next we have the IP types. Oh boy, oh man. These types, man, oh, they got it coming. The TI, the introverted thinker types, ISTP and INTP, it's like they won't listen to reason. But you might say, Frank, they're thinking types, they're rational. What do you mean they won't listen to reason? It's because to them, they are the final arbiters of what is reasonable, what is logical. And it's like, to me, I'm like, no, but look at it this way. I'm trying to tell you something. And they're like, nope, doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, these types can also just act like they're so certain about things. They're so certain about what they know. They think they are right all the time. And both of these types are in their own little world in one way or another. The ISTPs, they're so focused on what they're working on, what they're doing, the stuff that they're making work, that it's sort of like, ain't no room for anybody else. Okay, I'll just be over here, whatever, you do you. And the INTPs kind of do the same thing, but because they are, intuitive, they're like a space cadet. It's like, are you even on Earth, bro? And both of these types can accidentally be kind of mean. And I'm sensitive, man. Next up, the FI types, ISFP and INFP. You know what? These types, they get really stuck in their feelings. It's like I can tell they're a bit down in the mouth, and I'm like, hey, let's do something fun. Let's get your mind off of those feelings and whatever, yay. And they're like, nah, man. It's like there's no helping them. And sometimes it'll be about stuff where it's like, why are you affected by that? And then they don't want to talk about it. The other thing is, they won't do stuff if they don't feel like doing it. Now you might say, Frank, isn't everyone like that? But the ISFP and INFP take that to an art form. Now the ISFPs, the stereotype is like, they're artists, musicians, whatever, so on and so forth. What I have found is when they're doing their thing, whether it is art, music, they're like very possessive of it to the point where they get really bossy if you try to interfere at all. ISFPs are not normally bossy, so when they are being bossy, it's not natural to them, and it's like really weird to be around. I don't like it. The INFPs, what they like to do is get these like far out ideas that they're gonna follow. And they might sound great on paper, but to me, I'm just like, okay, this is not gonna work. You might wanna like think about changing some things, you know what I'm saying? But because they're so independent, all the IP types are very independent, they're like, no, I'm doing my own thing, man. The FI types are great listeners, and they are. They'll sit there, they'll listen, especially if they can make a personal connection with you, but they don't listen in the sense of, let me take in the advice you're giving me and then think, oh, maybe you know more than I do, or you have a better grasp of how this thing could work. They don't like taking advice. Okay, now the IJ types. We look at the introverted sensors, ISTJ and ISFJ. Oh my gosh. Both of these types are really rigid. It's like, oh, maybe there's a different way of doing this. They're like, no. This is how I do things. They are also weirdly detailed in the way they talk. Like it's an exhausting amount of details. And a lot of times they seem irrelevant what they're talking about, but they're just giving me a line by line. Like if they're telling a story about what happened in their day, it'll be like, this thing happened, this thing happened, this thing happened, this thing happened. I'm like, how do they all connect? I'm not even really sure. To them, it makes perfect sense. To them, this is a perfectly organized timeline of things. To me, it's like, just give me the gist of it. I'm a busy man. I got YouTube videos to make. With the ISTJs in particular, something that really gets my goat about them is the way that if, me being an NF type, if some kind of new NF thing I'm talking about, something that's like, a bit not clear, it's more in the feelings realm, they're just like, no. They're like, that sounds weird, no, I'm not going there. And it's like, dude, it's really not that weird if you just kind of listen to what I'm saying. They're like, no. The ISFJs, man, you know what they do? They are so nice that it's like, will you please just give me a break, stop being nice, stop doing stuff for me, stop bringing me a casserole, like it's making me feel bad about myself. I feel guilty that I'm not stepping up to the plate the way that you are, and it's getting on my nerves. Now we get to the NI types, INFJ and INTJ, and let me tell you, these two types are freaking weird, man. Even I get weirded out by them. And you know why it is? It's because I have this feeling that the INTJs and INFJs have this like master plan in their head. They have a map of how just like everything in the world works, and I am just a pawn in that. So the INTJs, they're doing their, business plan or whatever. They're doing their 4-hour work week. And sometimes they give the air that all the people in their life are just in one way or another a part of this grand system. It's like, yeah, I get it, INTJ. You figured out everything. Now, can you take your foot off the gas a little bit and become a bit more human? But okay, the INFJs, they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it maybe in a creepier way because they understand how people tick. They understand the emotional inner workings of other people. And so it's always like, are they saying something because they're trying to manipulate me? Are they saying it because they're being genuine? INFJs, to me, come across oftentimes as faker dakers. And I think it's because when they understand like these are the proper things to say and do to get these effects, it's like I never know what's going on. Are we really having a conversation, or are they trying to hypnotize me? Thanks for watching. Watch another video right here or the whole darn playlist right there. Let me know in the comments what you have to say about this subject, and until next time, stay cool and attractive.